Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we are at property address 321 Forest Lane here in Molalla. We are located just inside the garage door, man door entrance into the house. Going into the crawl space, we've got a 3-inch ABS cleanout. It's basically immediately at the bottom of the crawl space hatch. Dropping into 3-inch ABS, we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's currently running. I'm going to zero out here, and off we go. Looks like we've got a little bit of hot water running. We'll get that steam cleared out when we reel the camera back in. Have a little nicer image there. And we're going through this access point. The cleanouts on the outside, you've actually got two of them in the driveway. The closer one into the house I opened up, that's more of your initial cleanout. It's a one-direction cleanout, so it bypasses about 30 feet of pipe under the garage floor. We wouldn't be able to see, so that's why we're going through this one. And then typically speaking, the secondary cleanout that's under a big steel plate towards the end of the driveway, I didn't open that one up. In 13 years of doing this, I've only seen a handful of those be two-way cleanouts. They're almost always directional like the first one is, so that's why we're going in this route. Transitioning here to 3034 PVC pipe. So far, a very nice looking line. In fact, here's your secondary cleanout. As I say secondary, I'm talking secondary on the exterior. In reality, this is actually the third cleanout in the line. So we'd call that a tertiary cleanout, if I can recall my terminology correctly. And this thing is just running a dead straight line. This is a great configuration to have. Fewer the turns, the better. Alright, there's the main lateral. We're going to let the line drain out here for a moment. And we'll pull back in here in just a second. Alrighty, line terminates out on Forest Lane. You know, if you go out in your driveway and you see the two cleanouts, one's got a smaller cap, one's got a bigger one. That is in the direct, they'll sit directly over top the sewer line. That is the exact pathway your line's taking. End to end, in fact. If you draw an imaginary straight line back to the house, that's also the route the line takes. It's a very unique thing to have a line set up this way. They very rarely run straight. You would think they would, but they rarely do. And I wanted to point out, too, the homeowners here are doing quite a good job at not dumping all their cooking oil down the sink. This is a very clean sewer line, by and large. That little bit of tan brownish stuff you see in the flow line there kind of floating away is a very thin layer of grease. All that stringy stuff there is just cobwebs, by the way. Those are not roots. But anyway, relative to most homes, this is a very, very minor amount of buildup. Most houses, especially where younger generations are living, have often quite a bit of grease buildup in them. And it leads to a lot of blockage problems. It causes a lot of toilet paper debris in general, to get hung up where it would otherwise make its way out. Just turns your line into a sticky mess. All the PVC pipe looks great. Transition joint looks good. Pipe drains off beautifully. And what little bit of grease is in here, my camera's chewing it up. Much of that is going to slough off on its own. Not that it's significant anyway, but that'll disappear over the next week with just toilet flushes and water running through the line. The big thing is just being mindful of it and trying not to put... It especially gets you in large quantity. If you're dumping... You know, if you've got enough on your pans that when you turn the pan sideways, it runs off the pan. It's at that point you want to be trying to wipe your pans out after they cool down with a paper towel or pour it into a jar. Little thin coating of PAM spray, hot water and soap handles that just fine. The key is using hot water to do your dishes, but letting the hot water run for about a minute longer than your last dish is done. It helps to ensure any grease that does get down line stays melted and emulsified until it gets out to the main, or at least a good distance from the house. All right, we're going to go ahead and reel the camera out here. Great flow end to end. All the pipe is in good condition. There's basically nothing about that line I could nitpick. Great looking line. It is functioning properly at this time.